Hey everyone, my name is Shay, and in this video, I'm going to teach you on how to get started with coding in Trinket, as well as how to create basic drawings using the turtle. So, if you don't know what Trinket is, also Trinket.io if you haven't been there yet, Trinket is a wonderful website that allows people to code in a browser, which is Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, Safari, or whatever you use. And this code is specifically in the programming language called Python. And Python is different from other languages taught in Comps Like Kids, like Visual Basic or JavaScript, but it also includes the same concepts like if statements, loops, arrays, and variables. So please don't be scared of this new language. You will soon see that it is fun to code in Python. So in order to get started, make sure that you have an account, whether it's Google account or account that your parents help you set up, and then click Home, and then you should be brought to a page that says My Recent Trinkets. Over here, you can see all the past trinkets that you found, which are, like it says, interactive examples that you can put on the site, and it includes a bunch of code that you've typed out. And then you can also create a new trinkets. So when creating a new trinket, make sure that you select the Python feature. Make sure you don't choose any of the other ones because you won't be able to code using Turtle. And so in order to create a new trinket, you just click Python, and then you'll be brought to a page like this. So I'm just going to run through some basic things that you'll see on the site that'll help you get started with writing your first program. So up here, you can name your trinket. I'm going to name it the first trinket. And then over here, you can save your trinket. And then down here, this window over here is where all your code goes. And this window over here is the result of your code. And you can get that result after clicking Run. And then over here, you get some more information on modules. Now, a module is a new word you probably never heard of before. I'm going to give you a very simple and basic explanation on what a module is. A module essentially is just a bunch of pre-written code that someone typed out in the past and allows you to do some very cool things without actually having to type hundreds or thousands of lines of code. Instead, you just have to type 1 or 2 lines of code. And so in our case, we're going to be using something called the turtle module. So before I explain that, I'm going to head over to another trinket that I've created. And so I have this, my first trinket, something I typed in the past. And so I have some code for you guys. So before I get started, I was going to explain what turtle module is. The turtle module is a bunch of pre-written code, obviously, that in this case allows you to draw on the screen. You can have a pen that draws different shapes, figures, letters, numbers, or whatever else you want. Essentially, it's a way to create animations and visuals for your programs, games, projects, or whatever else you're creating. So, as you can see, I just copy and paste a lot of code. Instead of having me type it out, I'm just going to go through it, give you a basic understanding of what's going on, and then give you guys a challenge at the end. All right. So, in order to get started, the first thing you have to have at the top of every single trinket is something called an import statement. An import statement basically tells the program that you want to use all the code found in the turtle module. And without this, none of your code will run and everything's going to be red and all messed up. So the next part is actually called creating the turtle. And so in this part, what you want to do is you want to first of all reference the screen, which is the result screen over here, the result window. And then you also want to create a turtle. So in my case, the variable name of my turtle is Ted, but you can set this to whatever you want. Like for example, I can set it to my name, or I can set it to another name, whatever I want. But you have to make sure that you know the turtle name because as you can see, you see Ted a lot of times in my code. And the next few things are just some settings for my turtle. And so like I said, turtle module allows you to use a pen that's on the screen and basically draws for you. And so you have to set the pen size, which is just how thick the pen is. You also have to set how fast you're moving the pen. So the higher this number, for example, I do 5, the faster the pen's going to move. And then you can also set the color of the pen. And so you can make any color. You can make it blue, you can make it red, I can make it black, and make it green. And the last thing is to set the fill color. When you're drawing a shape, the actual shape itself is going to have a color, and there'll also be color inside the shape. And so you can specify those two colors and make them different. Now, before I move on, you might notice something. I have my code here, and then I also have some green code on the side. This isn't actually code. This is something called comments. Well, comments, essentially, what they are is a way for a human to actually understand your code and not have to either contact you or not have to go through your code and try and understand it. This is just sort of some instructions in English for a programmer. And so it's a very, very useful tool for you to know. All right, moving on to moving the turtle. So if you want to actually get the turtle to start moving on the screen, you have a bunch of different options. So the first thing you can do is just move it forwards or backwards. And so this number in here, it's also called a parameter, is just how far you're going to be moving the turtle. So for example, let's say I want to move my turtle 175 units in the direction it's facing. So I just type 175 in the middle. If I don't want it to go that far, I might want to type 90. The next thing is just how far you want to rotate the turtle by. You can rotate it either counterclockwise or clockwise. Counterclockwise would just be left, clockwise would just be right. And the next thing is just to set the position of the turtle. You might notice that there's an X and a Y coordinates. In this window over here, the center of the window is 0, 0, unlike where in many other languages, the center is the top left. And then let's say you want to go to 100, 100. 100, 100 would be somewhere in the top right. Negative 100, 100 would be somewhere in the top left. And then negative 100, negative 100 would be in the bottom left, and so on. But you have to remember that 0, 0 is the center. And then, like I said, you can also move it backwards. And so normally you have it where a turtle is facing a direction. You can turn it either way, and you can also move it forwards or backwards. And then down here, you can also hide the turtle if you don't want it to show. And you can also show the turtle when you actually want to see it. And so once I run the code, you'll see that there's going to be an actual turtle that's going to be sort of acting like a pen and drawing everything out, which is kind of cool. And the last thing to moving a turtle is you can specify to move to a certain corner, which is very similar to the set position, pretty much just the same thing. So that's moving turtle. Now I'm moving on to actually creating shapes and changing colors. So you can create different types of shapes just by typing in the name of the shape, like a square, circle, dot, or so on. And then inside, there's some numbers that specify how wide, how large, what the radius of the shape is, stuff like that. So right now you can create a circle that has a radius of 60 units, or you can also create a dot that has a radius of 20 units. And something very important to note is this line over here. So let's say you have a pen at the center, or a turtle at the center, and you draw one shape. Let's say you want to draw a shape somewhere else, farther away. If you move to that position, the turtle is still going to be drawing. Let's say you want to stop drawings. Then what you do is you essentially just do pen up, which you can imagine it as if the pen is on the page, and then you move the pen to the new position, and then you put it back down on the screen and you start drawing. And that's sort of what you can imagine when you use the command pen up. And along with creating shapes, you can also create them manually instead of just having to use that one line. And so in this situation, I move to one position, negative 100, which is in the bottom left. And then I put my pen back down, and then I start drawing a square, which I'll show you. And then also I have this new command, which is ted.beginFill, which is saying my turtle, start having the inside color of the shape, or the inside of the shape have some sort of color, which, if you remember from up here, is going to be olive. And so once I draw my turtle, it's going to end the fill, and then it's no longer going to have filling in the inside. And then the last line is probably really important. This has to do with having where once you're done running all this code, because the code's going to go line by line, then it's going to tell the program to stop and actually let the person who's coding see the result. And so you got to make sure that you have this line at the bottom of your code. All right. Now, if I was to run it, so it's going through this part over here. Now I just created the circle, and then it just went to this part over here, and then I just created a square, and then I set it equal to the inside of it, it's equal to olive. And so at this point, you should know the basics of drawing with Turtle. All this code will be available through Comps Like Kids, obviously. And there's a lot more that you can do with this language. But for right now, this should help you with other tutorials, exercises, and projects we provide to you guys. And the last thing I'm going to leave you with is an understanding that Turtle is not only a bunch of commands, functions that allow you to draw, but you can also use coding concepts like for loops to type less code. And so if we scroll down, you might notice over here, for some of you guys who are familiar with for loops, you could have used a for loop to, instead of having to type out, 8, 10 lines, could have just typed out 2 lines. And so you can use other coding concepts with Turtle and Trinket. So that's pretty cool. And obviously you'll see more of this later on. And lastly, I'm going to challenge you guys to draw something using Turtle. I wouldn't recommend copying all of this line by line, but instead I'd recommend you guys referencing this and using it to draw something else, like for example, a house, or if that's too easy, try drawing a face with circles or a car. All right, that's pretty much it. Bye.